my eyes were closed, and I just started seeing this movie playing in my head. My name is Mike Bidwell, and I'm 56 years old, and I'm a lifelong martial artist. I've never written fiction before. I've written articles and things, technical things for martial arts, but never anything like Yurei before. I had to dig deep within myself. I had to go to places that I'd never gone before, because these characters were reflections of people in my life, good, bad, or indifferent. And I had to go into those places again and go to the darkest places of, losing a child. And grieve through it for the first time and speak that truth that was, something that was buried inside of me that needed to get out. I had to go to some dark places, but like everything, the other side of darkness is light. It was a shedding of the snake skin, and sometimes that has to happen so that I could grow new skin again. At first, I didn't think I was going to tell anybody how the book came to me. The last 15 months, as it sort of has poked at me in the last year, I recognize what a strange experience. It's kind of giving a piece of yourself to everybody else, but also I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful to have gone through it because it helped me so much. And I hope that someone else can find their own truth in it too. In 2019, Sheena and I lost a baby. Nothing prepares you for that kind of pain. The world just stopped. We didn't know how to move through it, how to keep breathing together. A close friend, a therapist, suggested psilocybin mushrooms. It sounded crazy, but when your heart's been torn out, you'll follow any whisper of hope. So we drove into the mountains, just the two of us, carrying our grief and a small bag of mushrooms. I remember the air cold, alive. The silence felt sacred. When the mushrooms took hold, it was like the grief cracked open and the light poured in. Not the kind of light you see, the kind that finds you when you've given up looking. That night didn't erase our loss. It gave us a way to carry it. 4 years later, we were in different places, older and stronger, but the silence came back. I was sitting at home wondering if we should try another journey, and then my phone lit up. A random video it had made from that first mushroom trip. The date on the screen stopped me cold. It was the exact anniversary, 4 years to the day. Sheena walked in and saw it too. We just looked at each other, no words, just that knowing. It was a sign. 5 days later, the visions came. The moment that I realized that this book was being written through me, not necessarily by me, was a few days after our second psychedelic trip. It was when I could put my head under the water that the visions would come through the clearest, and I could literally see it like a movie. It felt like I was there. It felt like I almost left my body and went somewhere else and watched this literally like a screen in front of me, seeing it all. Yurei felt like a world that was alive, that already existed. I would get out and make some notes in my phone and kind of remember what happened, because it felt like a dream, and dreams fade after you wake up for a few hours. I started to try to pause it and move around within the space and kind of see what else was happening in the space. Feel and see the vision from not just a 2D perspective, like I'm watching a flat TV, but actually move around through an immersive space and actually see what was going on within the space. It changed the direction of what I could see and experience within the storyline, and put me in the storyline too. I literally only knew one vision, and then the next vision, and then the next vision, and then the next vision. It wasn't like I could see the entire storyline. So part of it I had to give into the process and just allow it and trust in the fact that this was actually going to end somewhere and at some point, and I don't know how it was going to end. As much as it's a fiction story, there's so many pieces of me that had to heal and experience to even bring this into fruition. When this book was coming through to me, it's kind of where the story went. There was vampires in it, and there were samurai in it, and these were things that were coming through to me, and psychedelics, and they seemed like such a strange mix. It wasn't that I was trying to redefine the cosmology, but it's just that the cosmology redefined itself. It's about halfway through, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna write this for me, because I just want to know where it's gonna go and how it ends. And then if anybody else is interested in it, great. But it just, it became kind of a personal journey of trying to get to see where it was gonna go and how it would end. And I'm thankful that I got there, because when I look back now, I'm like, wow, it's really a great story. And I really enjoyed being a participant in this, and a kind of a reader of it as well, as it kind of unfolded, because again, I didn't know where it was going to end. So the cover art was created by Chris Jitteau. He's an illustrator, painter, and tattoo artist. He's one of my closest friends, and he was one of only 2 people who actually knew and heard the story about how the book was coming through with these visions. It was like he was foreshadowing certain things that were gonna happen in the book, which was pretty mind-blowing. I've been getting tattooed from Chris now since about 2011, and I've got this actually a few years ago. And one of the characters in the book, Ramika, was actually based on my wife. My wife, Sheena, actually is a martial artist, and she actually choked somebody with her hair once, and that actually happens in the story as well. She scrambled to her feet just as another boy dove for her legs. She sprawled her hips back, hooked his arm, and spun behind him, locking her grip around his waist and using his body as a shield. With a sharp flick, she whipped her braid into her hand and looped it around his neck. In one swift motion, she tightened the coil, strangling him until he slumped unconscious. If you read it and you see a character or a moment that feels like real to you, then it was meant for you.